So what do all these terms mean for sports betting? What's against the spread? What's an over-under? What's a sharp? What's public money mean? I'm going to tell you all those things today. This video is very simple. I'm going to tell you what every term means, and that's it. Popular sports betting term, what does it mean, and why? Let's get right into it. Let's start with unit. A unit is simply how much you spend on a typical bet. So let's say, hey, I'm betting 1 unit on this game. Your unit could be $10, $100. You're betting one of your units. It's different if you have a bigger bankroll. Your units are bigger than mine. Say I bet $100 a game. You bet $1,000 a game. My unit size is $100. Let's talk about the point spread. Sometimes you're going to see a team in the NFL is -3.5 or +3.5. That is the point spread. Point spread means a margin of victory set by the odds makers to attract bets action on both the favorite and the underdog. A favorite must win by a number higher than the point spread to cover the spread. An underdog can cover by losing by a number less than the spread or by winning the game outright. So if a team is +3.5, they're the underdog, they could lose a game by 3 and still cover the point spread. This is just done by sportsbooks to make sure that the same amount of money, they want to get as close to 50-50 action on both sides of the bets. And if the team's way better, no one's going to bet on the underdog. But if it's the underdog plus they get 10.5 points, then it's more attractive to bet on that team. Next term, against the spread, refers to the result of the game, including the point spread. A team covering the point spread means that they won the game by at least the point spread. Again, for a favorite to cover, it must win by a number higher than the point spread. For an underdog to cover, it must lose by a number less than the spread or win the game outright. What's a bad beat? A bad beat is simply a bet that looks like it's going to win, and then at the very end, it doesn't for some reason. That's a bad beat. What's the consensus? A consensus is a percentage of the betting public on each side of a game. Some bettors will bet against the public money, whichever team has more bettors placed on their bets. What are alternate lines? Odds that are higher or lower than the main posted line, common with point spread and game total betting in basketball and football. Sometimes you'll hear a sports bettor say they want to get a better line than what's currently posted. So say a team is -3.5 and they don't think they're going to win by 3.5 because, again, to cover the point spread, they had to win by at least 3.5. Maybe they'll adjust the line where they say, oh, I think they're going to win by 3. So now I want to take that team -2.5 instead of -3.5. But to do this, it's going to cost you something because it's an easier bet to hit. So you get worse odds, so you make less money if it hits. Let's talk about those American odds. Whenever you see a team is +200, what does plus money mean in odds? +200 signifies the amount a bettor could win if they wager $100. It's always referring to if the bet is $100, what you would get in return. That doesn't mean if it's -110 and you bet $100, you would get -$110. It's actually the inverse. It's you would have to bet $110 to win a $100 profit. Teams that are underdogs get plus money. Teams that are favorites are minus money. And if you see +100, it just means it's even money. If you bet $5 and you win, you get $5 in return. You typically see this regarding the money line. What is the money line? The money line is a straight up bet without any point spread where bettors need to predict the outright winner. Again, favorites are posted with a negative number, -150. Underdogs are listed with a positive number, +150. The line just refers to the betting odds posted by a bookmaker. Odds, betting line set by a bookmaker. What is a parlay? A parlay is an interesting degenerate thing that a lot of us do, which have a low probability of happening. But because of that, you can win a lot more money for only one bet. So say you have a 4-team parlay. That means that you can bet, instead of betting $10 to win $10, you can bet $10 to win $300. But it's much harder to hit because if even one game of your 4 games parlay loses, you lose the parlay. The parlay itself is a combination of 4 individual bets that combine to create the parlay. And if one leg loses, you lose the parlay. It's either a win or a loss. But to win, you have to get every single bet right in the parlay. What's a prop bet? Prop bets are something that I really enjoy. It's any game that is not directly tied to the outcome of a specific game. For example, you can bet on how many passing touchdowns a quarterback's going to get. You can bet on the first team to score. Anything that is not directly resulting in a win or a loss or the game's total is a prop bet. You might hear somebody say, I'm taking the points. That means they're taking an underdog plus the spread. So if a team's plus 3.5, they're taking the 3.5, meaning they think a team is not going to lose by at least 3.5. When somebody says I'm laying the points, that means they don't care that it's minus 3.5. They think this team's going to win by at least 6, 7. They think that they're going to cover the spread, so they're laying the points. What does it mean when somebody's buying points? It's the exact same thing as an alternate line, but it gets you a little bit more favorable of a line. Again, it can take a team saying, I think they're going to win by 3, not 4, but the line's minus 3.5. So you can buy the points down to getting the team minus 2.5. But again, it's going to cost you. You're going to get worst odds on that bet. Teaser. Sometimes you can tease games. So it's a parlay where there's multiple games and you can tease all the spreads down. So say you have 3 favorites that are all minus 6. You can do a 6-point teaser parlay where it teases all the lines from going from minus 6 to 0, which means all they have to do is win. They don't have to cover any sort of spread and you win the bet. The reason this is allowed is because you get a little bit worse odds by teasing it because it's the same thing. It's an alternate line. It's buying the points. You're getting a better line in exchange for worse odds. We have 2 types of bettors. We have a square bettor and a sharp. A square bettor is simply a novice or recreational player and the opposite of a sharp. Sharp money or a sharp is just a professional sports bettor. Books have labeled certain bettors based on their winning track record. You're going to hear about bankroll and bankroll management. Your bankroll is just money set aside or deposited into another account that is used strictly for betting. A player's bankroll increases with each winning wager and decreases with each losing bet. Future betting. A bet on events that will happen further in the future, like who will win a division or who will win a championship well in advance. Hedging your bet. Betting opposite of a previous bet to guarantee winning at least a small amount of money. The hook. A half point added to point spreads and game total odds. A hook guarantees a wager will not be graded as a push. One side will win and one side will lose. That's why I keep saying a team as a favorite might be minus 3.5 and not minus 3, because if a team wins by 3 and they're minus 3, then it's a push. But if it's minus 3.5, you can't win by half a point. So no matter what, one side is going to win, one side is going to lose. That half point to go from minus 3 to minus 3.5 is just called the hook. That's the basics. If you understand everything in this video, you're ready to play. Start doing your research. Follow Bet3 on Twitter. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Like this video and be ready for more content just like this because we're going for it.